Ingrid walked over to her husband's desk and closed the lid of the computer he was working at. "What are you doing?" "I was working. It was important." "And your wife wasn't?" "You could have called me." "I did call, asshole, and you ignored me as usual." "Okay, what's so important?" "I'm meeting someone." Prescott turned his head. "I don't see anyone. Are you telling me you're hallucinating?" "For a smart man, you sure are dumb." "No, I'm not hallucinating. I'm having sex with another man. Sex that is exciting, varied, and prolonged for a change." "Oh, that's it?" "Isn't that enough?" "Do you intend to continue having sex with him?" "Yes, unless you want to do something else." "Like what?" "Like have sex with me more often and put some emotion into it." "You want sex more often than once a week? We have it every Saturday night at 9 o'clock before we go to bed. What are you, a sex addict?" "No, I'm normal. Normal people want sex more often and not on a schedule." "Oh, I suppose I could review my schedule to see if I can carve out a different time during the week." Just forget about it. I'll just get my ration of sex from my lover." She started to leave the room. "Don't forget to use a condom. STDs are becoming more common." In the laboratory. "Roxanne, we've worked well together for several years now. You're the closest thing I have to a best friend. Do you mind if I ask you something personal?" "I feel the same way. I'd love to hear whatever you have to say, but shouldn't we wait until after lunch break? I don't think we should be using work time for personal conversations." "You're right. Would you join me for lunch in the cafeteria?" "I'd love to." At lunch, they sat together, away from the threat of eavesdropping. "Okay, Prescott, what was it you wanted to ask me?" "We've never talked about our spouses. Do you mind if I tell you about mine?" "No, that's up to you." "My wife is obviously very attractive to other men. There seems to be one man who was attracted to her, and now she's attracted to him. They are having sex." "How do you know that? Suspicion is one thing, proof is quite another." "She told me that's what it is." "Then what's your question? What am I to do about it?" "Did she tell you why?" "Sex. I don't have enough sex with her, and supposedly I don't know how to do it well. I guess I thought it was a big problem. Since we didn't want kids, it was just sex. It was enjoyable, at least for me." "I know what you mean. Over the years, my sex life has gotten smaller and smaller. Don't get me wrong, I love sex. I guess there's just no lust anymore. I think it's all about social media and the entertainment business that exaggerates the importance of sex compared to what it really should be." "So what do you think I should do?" "Do you want to stay married to her?" "I guess so. I thought things have been good at home so far. Do you think I should divorce her?" "If you're not that unhappy with the way things have been going, let her make that decision for herself." "I guess I could try having sex with her more often. What should I do to make the sex better?" "I can't give you advice on that. I don't know how good you are at intercourse." "I just had an idea, but I'm afraid to say it. You could sue me for sexual harassment." She chuckled. "Nothing you can say will make me upset. Go ahead and say it." "Roxanne, would you like to have sex with me? I don't mean for personal pleasure, but so that you can give me an informed opinion on how good or bad I am at it? Just once." "I thought that's what you were implying. Prescott, I like you very much, and I hope that if we have sex, you will enjoy it. I don't have much experience with sex, although my large breasts gave me the opportunity to have several sexual partners during college. Of course, I'd like to help you. When and where will we do it, if I agree?" "There's a motel down the road. We could go there sometime during our lunch break." "Okay, how about tomorrow? My husband doesn't usually want sex after a night of bowling." "About your husband, would he be upset if he found out you had sex with me?" "Not if it doesn't stop him from bowling. He's in love with my breasts and tolerates the rest of my body." In motel. "Do you want to have foreplay first, Prescott? We don't have much time." "Indeed, Harold doesn't usually stay longer than 5 minutes. How long will you last?" "I don't know. I've never timed it. I think not very long." "I think we can skip most of the foreplay." "Okay, we'll see." Roxanne undressed and stood in front of Prescott. He was only partially naked when he stopped to look at her. Thank you. Sex with my wife has never been so good. I think we should get dressed and get back to work. They went back to the lab where they were working. Their supervisor, Dr. Zimmerman, approached them. Where the hell have you two been? Neither Prescott nor Roxanne were prepared for such a confrontation. Before they could think of an answer, Zimmerman continued. Never mind. I just got a call from Sheffield Industries. They want the prototype ready tomorrow. They've moved the date up a couple days. Will we be able to make it happen? Roxanne replied, If we work late, we can. Prescott nodded in agreement. Good. You two work late. We really need the prototype to impress them, then they'll continue funding. Prescott and Roxanne called the couple to let them know they would have to stay late at work. Almost immediately, their co-workers noticed that after the motel binge, their senses were heightened and their energy levels increased. They were united by some kind of creative aura. By midnight, the prototype was ready. They relaxed in their lab in an empty building. I wasn't sure we could do it, much less so quickly. You've been great, Roxanne. Please, you know I couldn't have done it without your help, Prescott. They enclosed each other in a celebratory embrace. Still holding each other, they looked into each other's eyes. Their lips seemed drawn to each other. Lips parted, tongues moved. Touching and caressing followed. The table! Clean it! Prescott and Roxanne began clearing things off the table. Oh my God, that was so incredible, Roxanne. You are a magnificent lover. Prescott, I think I'm in trouble. What is it? All I want to think about is doing it over and over and over again. I feel the same way. What are we going to do? Right now, I want you to fuck me again. I don't know if I can do that yet. 20 minutes later, they were both exhausted. Fortunately, there was a shower in the lab where they could freshen up before returning home. Coming home. The next morning, Prescott sat in front of his wife at breakfast. She was not pleased. Where were you last night? Why aren't you going to work? I had to stay late at work. I called and told you. We finished late, and Zimmerman said we could come back later today. We? You and Roxanne, I guess. Yes, we've been partners in this project from the beginning. You knew about it. Are you jealous? Well, it's just that I know what I mean when I say I'm working late. What do you mean when you say you work late with Miss Big Boobs? I sense a double standard here. You can call Dr. Zimmerman if you don't believe me. You don't think I will, do you? Stay here. She picked up the phone and called Prescott's office. May I speak to Dr. Zimmerman, Prescott Camfield's wife? Thank you. Dr. Zimmerman, this is Prescott Camfield's wife. I called about my husband owing... No, you don't have to apologize for making him work late. A bonus and a raise. That's wonderful, Dr. Zimmerman. Yes, I'll tell him. Thank you very much. I apologize for not believing you, Press. I'm really sorry about that. It's just that when I had the affair, I assumed you might be as spoiled as I am. I dumped him, by the way. I don't want to be one of those women who cheats on their spouses all the time. I know you would never do anything like that, even with a woman with such huge breasts. Can you forgive me? I promise I will never cheat on you again. You don't need to apologize. Too much. I know now that I need to be a better lover for you. The good news is that I believe I can do it better. You believe you can? How do you know that? Because I want it more now than I did before. They kissed and went back to bed. At work. So, Roxanne, how are you feeling today? On the one hand, I feel satisfied, but on the other hand, I really wish you were alone. Do you? Same thing. My wife got 2 finishes. You're a stallion. You're a fox. Where do we go next? To any hiding place. At this point, Dr. Zimmerman called them into his office. I wanted to congratulate you privately before we announce the success of our deal over the prototype. You two make a good team, and I'm not going to separate you. Here's something you might want to have to prevent any rifts. He handed them a DVD made that night when they were working late, in the dining room. If he told my wife about this video, don't say that. I don't want to think about it. So what do we do about it? We can go on with our lives as before and hope we don't get caught, or we can get a divorce and start over together. Which do you want? Anything as long as we are together. There was a lot of love in our lovemaking. Epilogue. Less than a year later, Roxanne and Prescott received a joint offer to move to another company with a much higher salary than they were receiving. Dr. Zimmerman couldn't even come close to that offer. They were afraid he would bring up the video. He didn't. The biggest problem with the move was that they would have to move to California to get a new job. Roxanne, what do you want to do? I've always wanted to be the head of a lab and feel the independence it gives. Of course, I'd rather it be with you. What about your marriage? I think the move is a good excuse to dissolve what's left of my marriage. I just can't make love to him anymore, knowing that I would rather be with you. Please join me in California. I was thinking the same thing. My wife and I are warm where it should be hot. I'm doing the paperwork now. I don't think I told you I found out about her and her lover just taking a break. Apparently, my newfound sexual prowess didn't impress her enough. I'm ready to move on. So you want to go shopping for swimsuits? Why? I hear they have some nude beaches.